go. You just right up where you wherever, whether it's a living area or whatever, ship right in the
You know.
Hey.
Some people worked hard on that.
You appreciate it.
Some agendas over there. I think we're good. Let's do this. I don't get to do this often, so let's call this meeting to order, folks. Start with a roll call.
Taken out of, sorry, attendance taken whenever we get in.
All right, great. Let's have a credentials report from our treasurer, Mr. Stephen Smith.
All right, just give me 1 second here. Yeah, it's 60 days from the start of the convention, so. And you share 34 qualified voters.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Let's start with the adoption of the convention agenda.
I move for the adoption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good. Moving on. We'll start with another treasurer report from Mr. Smith.
We have had your generosity, and many new members have had a good year financially. We've been able to have a more robust convention this year, and we have significant money in the bank, in excess of $6,000. So thank you all very much, and we hope that as your memberships come up, you'll renew those for us. And if you'd like to donate some as well, we certainly wouldn't say no to that. Also keep in mind, those who are gonna run for office in the state this year, they could use some Libertarian contributions to help them get over the line as well. At any time, if you want a more formal report, I'm happy to send it to anyone who would like to go over that.
Moving on, we have a Region 5 report with Mrs. Hogarth. Unfortunately, she has to drive up from North Carolina. She will not be present due to the weather. So we'll be moving on. The state affiliate reports. Dave, would you like to, or Brett, I guess, as the chairman of the LBEP, would you like to talk about what's going on in the Panhandle? Put you on the spot there. I mean, you're dressed better than I am.
So this past summer, we've recently formed an affiliate here in Berkeley County, but it actually spans the whole Eastern Panhandle. At the moment, we're hoping to get enough people involved that we can have one in Jefferson County, Morgan County, eventually hopefully every county in the state. We have a Facebook page, Libertarian Part of the Eastern Panhandle, and if you're from the area, just reach out to me or come talk to me today, or Dave, or Tara here, and Vince, and is everybody from our group is here?
Taylor?
Travis is here, and Rose and Tim. I was just thinking about the executive committee. I'm sorry. So yes, we have grown. We've got probably about 8 to 10 members right now, and it's nice to have a good group of people that are here in the county willing to help out. I'm looking forward to I didn't have this. I ran for House of Delegates twice, and we didn't have this either time. So it's gonna be nice to have some people helping knock on some doors and give some stuff out for any of the candidates that are running right now. We don't have anybody currently running, but hopefully it sounds like we may have until the end of July to maybe find some people, fill some spots here in Berkeley County. But I don't know if we're running. This is the largest county of registered libertarians in West Virginia, so we got to do some stuff to try to find out where these people are hiding, because 10 of us, 12 of us, my girlfriend and John Duke, he's also from down here, and Travis, he's not a libertarian yet, but we're working on that. I'm glad he came out today. So that's about it. Like I said, just stop by and talk to one of us. We'll give you some information, and if you're from the area, hopefully keep working in the next couple of years. Thank you.
That's right. Appreciate it. Anybody else? I know there's some Mon County Libertarians here. Taylor, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Mr. Chair, we got all the paperwork and everything done. Unfortunately, we just haven't had the opportunity to plan the convention yet and get it off running. But Dustin, myself, Kevin, Patrick, who's a former committee or executive committee member, did all the things that get everything approved. But now we just got to find some people with a little extra free time to make something happen. But we're excited to at least have that done and ready to move forward.
Good. I appreciate it. What about the Metro guys there? Sorry, Matt. Anything to report over there in Metro Valley?
We got it started and then I bought house and moved.
Yeah.
So I passed it off to someone else.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. I noticed that we did, of course, in my haste, we skipped over the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Anybody want a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right. So, moving on, we'll move on to the chair's report. Today we did something that the party's really never done before. And, that it was great feeling, even though despite it was Arctic temperatures out there, it's super cold. We had a great time. I had a blast. My intention as the chair of the party is to do stuff like that. I told people, and I don't mean to insult anybody in the room, because I know Dave has done a really great job in the past. But the days of stuffy business meetings at 9 a.m. on Saturday at the Holiday Inn in Bridgeport or Flatwoods is over. We're not doing that anymore. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a blast. We're going to do some cool stuff and promote the party, get people involved. That's the goal. Number one. That's the number one goal. So that being said, this is a great showing of people. I can't believe we have this many people here. I think, doubled the attendance from our last convention, which really means a lot to me. I'm sure everybody else in the room. And, the Libertarian Party of West Virginia is poised to pass or at least reach 10,000 registered voters, hopefully this year. And we can make that happen by promoting the party and having events like we did today. Not necessarily really expensive machine gun shoots, but, maybe gathering again for some hatchet throwing in Bridgeport or somewhere, where we can get together and have a good time. And again, it doesn't have to be hatchet throwing. I like to play cards. I like to I like to drink beer and, have a good time. So, that's what it's all about, camaraderie and getting together and growing the party. So with that being said, we worked out a deal, or, not a deal. We tried to get a keynote speaker, and the idea was to bring somebody that's a really big name, really big face of the party, who's been doing a lot for the party. And the other goal was to, which we motioned for last year sometime, was to bring the convention to a place where the most registered libertarians in the state are. And we started with Berkeley County. We also moved it forward from our typical month of April to the month of March. And we did that to accommodate Mr. Cohen, who I'll be introducing here shortly. But I don't know whose idea that was to move it forward to March, because I said specifically that, I lived in Jefferson County for roughly 10 years, and every big snow we had was in the month of March. So,
All of us.
3 feet, 4 feet of snow back in the mid-90s, and naturally it happened. So thankfully we muscled through it. We muscled through some stuff at Peddling Pints. I guess a drunk driver ran through some telephone poles, knocked out the power. So that almost didn't happen either. So again, we muscled. Great to see you here, and hopefully you can give us a good rah-rah here and get us going.
Sorry that you had to move your convention to a blizzard. Libertarian Party of West Virginia, I'm finally here. Thank you guys so much for having me here. Let me ask you something. Who here is ready to fight for freedom? Woo! Who here is ready to set West Virginia and America free? Woo! Okay, good. That means I am at the right convention. We've had a few times before where I ended up in the wrong place. So we know we're in the right place. I'm going to talk very briefly. I say that every time and it ends up being way longer, but I'm going to switch it up and just talk very little. First of all, everyone who came out to Peddling Pines, everyone who came out to the machine gun shoot, thanks so much for being a part of that. Thank you to everyone who put that together. Give a big round of applause to the people that are putting all of this together. This is one of the larger conventions that I've been to in the past few months. And this is a relatively smaller state. You guys obviously have a very robust state affiliate here, and that's very, very, very good to see. And I'll tell you something, you are here doing the work that needs to be done in order to set your state and the rest of the country free. The work you are doing here to push for things like more educational choice and freedom, to push for things like defend the guard legislation, to push to things like getting government out of healthcare, to make sure that things like constitutional carry pass and are respected, even at the local level. All of those things are things that we know that only libertarians are going to consistently do across the board. Ending qualified immunity. All of these things are things that we know that libertarians do. We hear good things from Republicans and Democrats, and we know what we get. I also come from a deep red state, and it always amazes me when I will say that I'm going to like a blue state, and they'll say, "Why are you going there? It's just a bunch of Democrats." And I'm like, I don't think you live in a deep red state, because I live in South Carolina, and I know that when it comes time to spend a bunch of money and raise taxes and talk and bluff about freedom and not really actually follow through, I can rely on the Republicans every bit as much as I can rely on Democrats to talk about safety and fairness and equality, and also provide none of those things as well. So I'm happy that you guys are here and that you are a part of this. The work that you do every day is not just work to tell people about freedom or to run for an office. The work you are doing saves lives. When we convince people that war is not the answer, that starting a war or getting involved in a conflict that doesn't involve us is not the answer, when we convince people that locking down the entire world to try to stop a virus isn't the answer, when we convince people that freedom is better than tyranny, lives are saved and many more lives are improved. That's the work that you're doing every day. And so, show of hands, who here is running for office? Who here is going to be running for either a delegate seat or something like that? That's awesome. That is incredible. Give these people a round of applause, because these are the folks that are going to be your bannermen and bannerwomen putting the message of freedom forth. And if there's anyone here who's considering running for office, either a House of Delegates or a local office, a city or county office, this is the place to make your connections to do that. Or if you just want to help someone else in their run for office, maybe running for office isn't your thing, you don't want to be in front of a bunch of cameras and a bunch of people and all that, but you want to help someone else, this is where you do that. This is the place to network. This isn't just where we get to all learn about Robert's Rules of Order. As fun as that is, as awesome as that is, this isn't just for that. This is also where you connect with other like-minded people who are every bit as on fire as you are to set this country free and to set West Virginia free and to do that work, to make those connections so you can do that. And so I only have a few minutes, so I just wanted to say that and to thank you for that. How long was I allotted? Do we have to go, man? Okay. All right. Well, here's what I want to do. So I can sit here and jibber jabber on for another 10, 15 minutes, but it's probably better to actually answer some questions that some of y'all may have. So I can probably take at least 2, 3, 4 questions, something like that. Yeah, take a few questions and then we can close out and get to business. If there's any questions anyone has about anything, I'd be happy to answer it. The first person's always the bravest. It's the one person that raises, yes, well, when I say it's bravest and they start competing. Hey.
Which machine gun is the best?
Oh, man. So, which machine gun is the best? Well, it's hard after firing a Ma Deuce not to say the Ma Deuce. But I also really liked the M249. I also really liked the M60. And I also really liked the Scar. And I don't know an answer to that question, actually. I think all machine guns matter.
So, what is the most libertarian My Little Pony character?
Oh, no. I don't know My Little Pony. I think all My Little Pony characters matter. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm supposed to say Spike, but we'll go with that because that's my namesake, so we'll go with that. Hey, man.
What are you looking forward to happening in Reno?
It ending? Reno. What am I looking forward to happening in Reno? I hope, and I say this here and at every other convention as well, I hope that what happens in Reno is that whoever ends up winning, that the people who don't win realize, and I can say this in here as well, if you go up to who you might think is your ideological opponent or political opponent or factional opponent or competing caucus opponent or whatever in this room, it might be Mike. If you're probably looking either at Michael or David. But if you look to whoever you think is your opponent in this room, and if I sat the two of you down and wrote down like 10 or 15 questions, you'd probably agree on like 13 or 14 or maybe all 15 of them. I think we often forget just how similar we are when it comes to our actual beliefs and values. We may disagree on the margins on certain policies. We may disagree on whether we like this personality or dislike this personality or think that this is the best strategy or this is the best messaging. But when it comes to our actual values, the world that we want to see, there's almost no differentiation. There's very little between what we believe. And if you contrast that with all the normies outside of this room right now, and you could have a really nice conversation with them, and then we could sit the two of you down and answer those same. I am answering your question, by the way. And ask those same 15 questions. You might agree with them on 5 or 6 things, or maybe even less. I think because familiarity breeds contempt, and because a lot of us spend way too much time on social media, again, I'm pointing at myself, I think we are often lose perspective here. And I think that if we had a little bit more perspective, whoever wins wouldn't matter as much. And I hope, we'll see if it happens, but I hope that whoever wins, that those who don't win have that perspective, even if it takes them some time to make peace with the fact that, they didn't win and the other side won, that they make peace with that and realize this is still the Libertarian Party. These are still libertarians who are in charge. I'm still part of the libertarian movement. And I hope, and the chair's right here, if he's the one that wins, I hope that whoever wins has a same level of humility of recognizing, okay, we have won, and now it's time to lead. And part of leadership is magnanimity. And part of magnanimity is saying, okay, anyone who wants to be a part of this, you are welcome to be a part of this. So I hope that in the midst of all the infighting, which by the way is nothing new, this has been going on for decades, longer than most of us have been alive, if in the midst of all that, I hope what comes out of that is a recognition that after a very long, hard fought struggle, we've determined internally within the party who the best people are to lead, and we do our best to work within that. So that's what I hope comes from that. We will see, we shall see what happens. So, and then yes, I'm also looking forward to the journey of it. So I guess I can take maybe one more. Hey.
What is your biggest piece of advice for people that are going to run for office?
Number one, be involved in your community, okay? Be a member of your community. Go to community events, help with charitable efforts, be out and about go to like city council meetings, county council meetings. Be someone that people recognize even before you start running. Be someone that people recognize as being active in the community, not just on policy and on legislation or on politics, but just in general. If you have a business, make sure that you're out promoting your business and what you're doing out there. If you're involved in charitable efforts, be sure that you are out there in force doing charitable efforts. Do all of these things. Do everything that you can, because you want to make sure that when you announce that you're running for whatever you're running for, that there's already at least a decent number of people who go, oh, okay, I know who he is, or I know who she is, and I know what they're about, or I at least know who they are. One thing to keep in mind, we're a bunch of ideologues. We believe in things based on our philosophy. We vote for people based on values. They don't. They vote based on, especially local elections, have I heard of this person? Do I have any reason to think this person cares about me? Do I connect with this person at all? Do I identify with this person? Do I have any reason to think that I would like this person? That's why there's very often in these like presidential polls, they'll ask a question like, which presidential candidate would you like most to have a beer with? And we're sitting there like, who cares? Like, okay, I'd maybe have a beer with this one, but he's also a warmonger. I'd never vote for him. That's how most voters think. Be someone that is involved in your community. And then once you're running, especially if it's a local race, knock on doors, have your signs out. Don't just rely on the internet and social media. You have to get out in front of voters. I have watched people who have run for offices where they were outspent 30 and 50 to 1, where they were barely, a few $100 they spent, and their opponent, who's an incumbent, is spending tens of thousands of dollars to get reelected. And they won because they knocked on the most doors, they showed up to the most events, they went to whatever the council or whatever they were running for, they routinely went to those meetings, they were on the news talking to reporters who showed up about why they were pushing for or against what they were there for. This is the work you have to do to run. If you want to seriously win your race, you want to make a serious impact in your race, then you have to do the work to connect with the community, because people are going to fall in love with your ideas after they decide that they even like or trust you. That has to happen first. It's the same thing in sales. If you're selling something, you have to sell yourself and the idea of yourself first before you can then sell them the product or service. It's the same thing here. So be involved in your community and do the follow through and the work to get in front of them, as many of them as possible. So, thank you. And I guess
What do you think about this porcupine, man?
I am so excited about this porcupine. I am, because it was a surprise and I didn't even know what was happening, I briefly experienced as much elation as I did when I was shooting the machine gun. And by the way, I've now experienced every part of West Virginia. I've experienced the porcupines, the machine guns, the snow, the Mexican chonies, all of it. I've experienced the whole, everything that there is to be a West Virginian. And having been able to have that experience, I will soon have to go because I'm flying down to Texas. But before I go, I need to tell you about something. I know all of you came here and you thought, yeah, I want to be involved in the convention. I want to help, fight for freedom and liberty and so forth. But, really, that's not just what I'm here for. There's so much more that I was involved in. Really, there was two main things I was really here for. Number one, I wanted to bring home, first of all, number one, I wanted to help my state affiliate. And then number two, I wanted to bring home some really sweet swag that I can show off to my family, who doesn't really fully understand why I keep buying this stuff. But I wanted to be able to do that. But Spike, there's no way that I could do that right now in this moment before you leave. You have so little time here that before you have to go. And there's no way that you could do it at a very low, affordable price point. Certainly not for the low price of $20. Well, folks, I have some fantastic news for you. I have exactly that. What I have here is a Spike Cohen swag bag. They are $20 each, and all of the proceeds go to the Libertarian Party of West Virginia. This is what you will get for only 20 Federal Reserve notes, which I would remind you are losing value as I speak right now. So when I'm done talking, that 20 will be worth less than it was when I started. But out of the goodness of my heart, I will continue to honor the price of $20 for as long as I am here. So here's what comes with that. First, it comes with a Spike Cohen You Are the Power wristband, like the one I wear every day, made out of the finest, I assume, silicone. I don't know, whatever they make those out of. It comes with a Spike Cohen You Are the Power button, because libertarians love buttons, like buttons love libertarians. Then it comes with, I am not just inviting you to become a part of the liberty movement. I'm here for factional reasons too. I'm inviting you to become a part of the the fastest growing caucus and the second largest caucus in this party. The party that is becoming a dominating force in this party. And I know we talk about it very often. I am inviting you to become a part of, I should say, the takeover by joining the Libertarian Party Waffle House caucus. And so you can become an official voting member of the LPWHC by getting one of these buttons. And then so that you have something you can show normal people. I have a portrait which I will sign and put your name on it, and then you can show this to people and say, look, I bought a portrait from someone who is so self-interested and conceited that they sign pictures of themselves and then sell them at conventions. So you can have all of that, again, for the low price of $20. I will be here for about another hour or so before we have to go, and I will be over at my non-decorated table next to the porcupine. You can't miss it. And if you want one, come on up. I take cash, Venmo, or you can just go to the LPWV website, make a donation there and show it to me, and that works as well. But again, folks, thank you so much for being a part of this, and I want you to take heart, because every day I go around the country, every day more and more people are waking up to liberty. We're seeing it even in our own families, probably. A lot of the same people who were giving us a hard time because we wanted to return back to normal. We wanted to go back to our lives. We didn't think that government telling us whether or not we were allowed to go outside was going to do anything to keep anyone safe. Now they're the ones saying it. They're the ones saying, I can't believe I wasted a year or 2 years doing that. And some of them started saying that last year. We're seeing more and more of that. Look at the fact that we're not at war right now. The United States, less than 20 years ago, the public was okay with invading 2 countries, one of whom had absolutely nothing to do with the attack that launched the so-called war on terror in the first place. They were, at least 50% of the country was okay with that, okay? Fast forward to now, there is overwhelming opposition, even among those who stand with the Ukrainian people and hate what the Russian government is doing. They are overwhelmingly opposed to it. The shift in sentiment in this country against using the U.S. military for anything other than a defensive force, we've won that battle. Lives are being saved, and people's minds are being changed every single day. Liberty is going to win. And when liberty wins, it's going to be because of you and the work that you do every day. And I couldn't be more grateful to be a part of this movement with you. Now, who's with me?
Thanks, Mike. We certainly do appreciate it. Glad you could brave the weather today with us. All right, moving on to old business. I don't see any old business. Anybody have any old business? No, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to new business.
Mr. Chair, before we go on to the agenda items, I would like to make a motion to waive the seasoning requirements.
Anybody want a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, seasoning requirements been waived. All right, let's start with item A on the agenda, which is a bylaws amendment. You can flip it over. You can read a little bit about what we're doing here. There was a question going into this meeting regarding the legitimacy of our convention, I guess, because we are having an convention, in March and not in April, May, or June as it states in our bylaws. So What we are going to be changing it to, we're just adding the word March to the nominating conventions. Nominating conventions shall commence in March, April, May, or June during even number years and should be held for the purpose of nominating candidates for public office and pertinent nominating delegates to the National Convention, providing education and training, and conducting all additional business of the nominating convention. Can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. All right, moving on. We are going to move on to the at-large member vacancy election. Recently, Mr. Kevin Patrick Jr. From Morgantown resigned his position as an at-large member of the executive committee. So I'm going to ask any eligible member in the room who is a registered Libertarian in the state of West Virginia, as well as a dues-paying member of the state party, to serve as an at-large member of the state executive committee, will be asked to raise their hands and speak towards receiving a nomination. So anybody who is looking to serve on the executive committee, please raise their hand. Ty, anybody else?
Can we nominate?
Yeah, I guess we can.
I'll nominate David Valente.
Dave, will you be willing to accept the
I
nomination?
respectfully decline. Thank you, Tara. Love you.
I tried.
I know.
Ty, are you willing to accept the nomination?
Yeah.
Travis, you
All right.
nominate him?
I nominate Ty.
Okay. Anybody else? So with any opposition?
I move that we accept by acclamation.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Welcome aboard, Ty. Appreciate it. Well, thank you, Ty. Now you gotta sit up here and,
He's like, if I just know.
so now moving on, item C, the National Convention delegates, nomination vote. Eligible members seeking to be delegates to the National Convention will be asked to raise their hands or stand up. If we have more than 6, which we are allotted to send to Reno, we'll circulate empty ballots. Those are on your table, those little yellow pads. So if we have more than 6, we'll write our names down. We'll gather the votes, tabulate them, and the top 6 members will be announced immediately after collecting them. So who wants to go to Reno? Who wants to be a delegate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm going to put my name in the hat as well. So I guess we will have to circulate.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'll actually remove my name, but I would be at-large member. Or not at-large, but I mean alternate.
Okay, great. So we have 7. So what's your name, sir?
Joseph Steiner.
Joseph Steiner. Okay. Okay, so anybody who has the ability to vote, here's these pads on the table here. Go ahead and write. Yes, sir.
Okay, we're just gonna write all the names down first, so everybody knows who's who.
I'm not quite sure how we can accomplish that. I guess we can't exactly write on that, can we?
At least state the names.
You can have everyone.
Yeah.
Because they are every time.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So if you want to go to be a delegate to the National Convention, please come up, introduce yourself, and that way we can start doing these ballots here.
No, you don't get a vote.
You coming over here too, man? All right, cool. This is Taylor. Doug, you're on here too, right? Oh man, we got a whole docket here. Obviously, I'm the chairman of the Libertarian Party. I've never been to a national convention. However, as the chairman, I feel like I'm obligated to go and rub elbows with all those weirdos in Reno. So that's my pitch. I know it's not much, but I have been a registered Libertarian since 2014 here in the state of West Virginia. I've served on the executive committee since 2019. I know it really doesn't mean much, but I've ran for House delegates twice unsuccessfully. I ran for Clarksburg City Council twice. Once I actually won. I'm a sitting member of the Martinsburg City Council. So, and we also have another member here. And I'll be remiss if I didn't mention that earlier in the chair's report. Mr. Austin Lynch also won an election for Stonewood City Council in 2021. So I'll sit back and I'll let you guys go. I'm gonna go get cocktail. It's like we'll have some time here. So.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Taylor Richmond. I've been a registered Libertarian since about 2017, probably an actual Libertarian for a lot longer than that. I've served on the executive board for the past year. In a similar vein to Will, I haven't been to a national convention, but would like to serve both as executive board member as well, but also in the spirit of what Mr. Cohen said, as someone who can help hopefully break some bread in Reno. So hopefully I've done that as a executive board member, and I want to do that in Reno for you. So again, Taylor Richmond, and the other Taylor.
That won't be confusing at all.
No, not at all. My name's Taylor Stewart. I apologize for my attire. I was shoveling snow since 9 o'clock this morning to get here. So I've been a registered libertarian since 2013. In Virginia, Arizona, I moved around a bunch, and I'm looking to go to Reno to be active and to have our voices heard, and hopefully see what the party can do in the next election cycle. Thanks again, Taylor Stewart.
Hi, my name's Tim Moody, M-O-O-N-D-Y. I've been a libertarian for many years and party member for several. I have attended a prior convention. It was a very educational experience. I think one of the takeaways is that it's not always as cordial, certainly as our convention here is today. And it's important that delegates are watchful and aware of that, and policing what's going on. You have a vote, and it makes a difference, and it's important to vote wisely to make sure that that the process, the integrity of the process is maintained. Otherwise, you undermine faith in the party. So I think that's an important element of what I hope to do as a delegate to the National Convention.
Hi, my name is Joseph Steiner. That's the first time I've ever been to a convention, so I know really nothing about any of it. I've been a party member since 2017, and I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. I just want to jump right in, so I raised my hand. I know there's going to be some figuring about what all the responsibilities are, but I want to be a part. I haven't really been active in it. I can talk to people once in a while, but I never really had a jumping off point, right? So I throw myself out here, see where I can get started with it. And I've been living mine my entire life. Since I was a child, things like the word censorship, it always confused me. I hated it. And I never understood the idea that other people think they can run your life better than you can, right? It's ingrained in me. I'm hardwired this way. So this is where I'm starting off, and we'll see where it goes. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Dustin Blankenship. I am first and foremost running for LNC at-large candidate as well. So one thing, I'll be in Reno. I'm excited to go. But I've been working my ass off over the last couple of years, really trying to ingrain myself within the party in a way that I can help not just move the party, but the liberty movement forward. And I really think that the way that we can do that is to get into Reno, improve our messaging, and get things rolling. And so I want to be there because I believe that I can be a strong voice for the party, as well as really someone who, I'll put it this way, probably the easiest way to think about it for anybody who knows anything about inside baseball, Dave and I get along fantastic. We're great friends. Josh Smith and I get along fantastically. We're good friends. If I can get along with both, I think I am probably someone who can really communicate with all sides of those issues. So I hope that I can come together with those individuals and do some really special things. And I hope that you'll support me. Again, my name is Dustin Blankenship, and hopefully get to see some of you guys at Reno.
My name is Matt Lucas. I think we all pretty much agree on just about everything here. I want to go to Reno because I've been a libertarian for a long time, and I never really got active until the past couple of years. And that's because I really found something to believe in. That's Angela Mcardle. She's running for LNC chair, and my intention is to go to Reno and vote for her, and get the messaging, like Dustin said, on track, and really get this thing going. Thanks.
Sure, if I need this. My name is Travis Boss. I'm running for school board here in Berkeley County. I'm trying to bring a spirit of open communication, choice, transparency to this board. I want to see the same thing at national with open communication, cooperation, and I want to echo what Matt said. We need bold messaging, libertarian messaging, and I intend to do that as representative of West Virginia.
Thanks, Ray. All right, so what we're gonna do is put your ballot together. I'll come around and I'll drive. Okay, that'll be great too. And just you go first. With that.
6. How many? 6.
6. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
No more than 6.
Yeah, no more than 6.
I'll be back for it.
They're very light.
She's right here.
Oh, wait, you're good.
Who has a ballot that they've each turned in yet? Hold it up in the air.
That's gonna run off with the
Anyone suspicious of it?
Needs election security.
2020 all over again. Worse than January 6th. Rough.
Everybody turn in their ballots to Mr. Smith there.
Any more ballots?
Taylor still has one.
Last call. Oh, one over here.
Hey, what's that box of ballots?
All right. One last call now. Anybody still writing?
Good.
Now, here are all the ballots.
Okay, while the secretary tabulates those, we're gonna move on to the next item, which is state candidate nomination vote. We are gonna be including LNC candidates, that's where we'll start. So beginning with LNC candidates and eligible state candidates will be asked to stand and speak for their nomination. If you do plan on running for state office, I know we have at least 4 here. Just raise your hand and we'll get you up here. And I know, Angela, is there any other? Dustin, would you like to speak again?
I think I covered most of what I would say in my stump speech, so we're good.
Okay, so it looks like we'll start with Angela, and then we'll work into our state candidates. After she's done, please raise your hand again. I know we got Austin, John.
John.
And you're Gridley. Okay, good. I appreciate you making it down. Hopefully the weather cooperated with you.
Somewhat. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much. Am I good for about 5 minutes?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So my name is Angela Mcardle. I chair the Libertarian Party of Los Angeles County. It's actually the 9th largest affiliate in the country, including state parties, to give you a little perspective on that. I've been on the California Executive Committee as an at-large member and state party secretary, and I'm on the board of directors for 2 Libertarian PACs as well. That's a little bit about me, but I really would rather communicate my vision for the party to you than talk about myself. You know, across the United States, I think a desire for freedom has swept the country, and a thirst for personal liberty has really been ignited in working class people. And they don't know exactly what libertarianism looks like, but they know what tyranny looks like because they've experienced it to some degree over the last 2 years. And right now, people have sort of a low resolution vision for freedom, and we need to bring that vision into focus by communicating our values to them so that they can really understand what libertarianism is. I'm here to explain my vision for the Libertarian Party and explain how we can turn the LNC into a functional organization again so that we can work effectively to accomplish that clear vision of liberty and bring about a freer world in our lifetimes. We have the most beautiful political philosophy in existence, and my vision is to mold us into a party that reflects that beautiful philosophy, a party that really inspires people to cast off their ideological shackles and to work for a freer world and to vote libertarian. And for decades within our party, People have argued over what the purpose of our organization is. Is it to win elections, or is it to spread the message of liberty? I really believe that it can be both. We want to see a freer world in our lifetime, and not everyone in our organization agrees on how we should reach our goal. So how do we work within our given situation to achieve the broader goals of most of the hardworking people in this party? Here's what we need to do. We're going to focus on candidates who are running with bold messaging campaigns in electable or high-profile races. And we amplify the voices of those candidates, like Shane Hazel or Erica here, your last gubernatorial candidate, and we throw everything that we have behind them. National Party social media, its email campaigns, direct mail, all of that, and speak to the needs of real people at the national level. This is strategic planning. It's something that the LNC does not do. One of the first things we're going to do when I'm elected national chair is adopt a 2-year strategic plan that meets our short-term needs while building for our long-term future. And it'll be easily implemented again at the next 2-year cycle, and easily modified for the next LNC or chair who comes after me if they need to pivot or make adjustments. So you're not locked into anything that's difficult to move out of. Strategic plan will basically treat our goals like bowling pins. So you knock the first pin over, and then the next pin, and then the next pin, if that makes sense. And another important thing that we've got to do at the LNC is be able to work together. In order for any of this to work, we've got to have a functional LNC, which we have not had during the last year. So let me break down what that would look like and how it would work. It's important for the chair, me, to be able to work with the members of the committee, and committee members have to be able to work with each other. There are several components to that. Part of my job as national chair begins now, quite frankly, to suss out other people that I think are collaborative, responsible LNC candidates like Dustin, who can actually work well with other people. A big part of it is also having committee members who are ideologically aligned and trust each other. And when we don't have that second element of trust, it's my job to fill in those gaps, help our board members build trust so we can move forward to accomplish our goals. Because it's my job ultimately to make sure that we accomplish our goals and to get there as quickly as possible so we can live in a freer world. Take, for example, Shane Hazel. Shane's campaign for governor created a national controversy which enabled him to get our message in front of a lot of people. This is the kind of campaign that national parties should get behind. Shane has a very bold message that's tempered by an emotionally charged personal story of libertarianism that ties into a global hot issue right now, war. His campaign is also highly controversial because Georgia's a swing state. Republicans are very upset about that, and they're also struggling with awful ballot access laws. So his campaign really touches on several major pain points, right? It's a timely issue, war, ballot access, left and right outreach because he's a veteran, so he can really get both groups. It gets national attention. So this is the sort of planning and vision and goals that I have for us to achieve as a national party. Every statement we make should be calculated to move us forward in the direction of liberty. We should be able to work together with most of the hardworking good people in the party. We can't please everyone, and that's okay. But I do think that we can shift the disagreements from social media catfights over to who's got the best planning, who's the hardest working, and who's the best fit for the job. And I think I'm skilled enough in leadership and planning to actually make this happen at the national level, and that's why I'm running for chair. I really appreciate you guys taking time to hear me. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that appears to be the only LNC candidate that we have. We're going to be moving on to state candidates. So just state candidates, can you guys raise your hand? We got 1, 2, 3. We got 4 over here. So I appreciate I appreciate you guys coming out. If you guys could stand up here. Yes. Oh, Mr. Treasurer, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. I'm sorry. So we do have 5, and I'm working with a few other people through messaging who are also interested in running. There's a gentleman here in Jefferson County, over in Jefferson County rather, who's interested in running. There's a couple more across the state. So if you guys can stand up and introduce yourself, and we'll go for nominations immediately after they speak. So John, you want to go first?
Sure. I'm from Wheeling, West Virginia. My name is John Grimley, and I've been a registered libertarian for 20 years. And never did anything with it. I am grateful you guys actually exist. So I would say ditto to everything Spike said. So I should have just recorded Spike and said, yes, this is what I believe. But on a personal level, the reason we have some libertarian views, of course, war. But personally, we had something happen in our family about 20 years ago. I had a bad reaction to a tetanus vaccine. I got a religious exemption, or a medical exemption, excuse me, from my doctor. And then the local health officer at that time harassed our doctor, would not honor him, and he doesn't have the power and authority to do it. I said, well, I'm going to get this law changed. So I spent 3 years in the legislature, got it through the Senate two consecutive years, third reading in the House, it failed. And what I saw down there is just how things work, is the vaccine manufacturers have conflicts with health guys. And I said I could spend years doing this, but I have a family I want to see my kids raised, and I'm going to come back to this issue. And so I think COVID actually has made it a great experience as far as in the minds of the people that no vaccines are 100% effective, and know the masks don't work. The tyranny is out of control, especially with our governor. We have to have a 30-day, go back to the legislative process through the representatives to say yes or no to continue the emergency power acts. It's totally out of control. You have to rein this in. It has to come back to the people. So I think this is the year to run as a libertarian, and I think on that issue, it's one of several issues, but that one's near and dear to me, and I think I'll give it a shot. So either at the House level at Ohio County, or first Senate district.
What House district was that?
So it's Ohio County is I think the fourth
district.
So it would be against, now, the thing is, I would be running against Erica Storch. She's a 20-year Republican. When I actually lobbied her, she, right there with pharma, so maybe that can work to my advantage, but I think I have a better chance at the first Senate district. Because in my business, we, 30 years ago, worked at a TV station, started my own company, and we've done videos for all the steel mills, and I'm well known in the area. And, so I get along with the labor guys and everything else. And, so I think, plus my daughter is a TV anchor in there. So we had to school her out of state. We drove every day to Ohio because of the vaccine laws. And, so before I die, I'd like to see freedom actually come back to that country, because we're not free now. So we're enslaved. So,
just to be clear, before we sign any document, we're going to have to finalize what the House is saying.
Right. So, as I just throw that out there, let's strategize, where we could possibly actually win.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Any nominations for Mr. Grinling?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Oh.
Just point of order, how do we nominate him for an office we don't know he's running?
Yeah, that's what, again, to fill out that paperwork and to get a nomination, we kind of have to know.
Is somebody else running in the first district or the Senate district?
As a libertarian?
Yes.
No.
So can I get on the ticket there? Because I think I have my best chance of winning.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's your role.
Now, Erica's, I actually used to do.
Yeah, we can nominate up until August.
Okay. Beating her. So, the first district, I have my best chance.
Mr. Chair, I would move to table my nomination to give them time to maybe make them more.
Yeah, we've got until August.
Yeah, we do have until August 1st.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah, so, if that's what you want to do, I know that there's a candidate who's running for Charleston City Council. There may be some others, and we'll have to, the last item of business on our agenda will be to reconvene for a special nominating convention, whether it's next week, 2 weeks, next month. So if that's okay with you.
Yep, daughter's getting married May 1st. After that,
Okay, so, want to table anybody? 1 second, I guess. Second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, well, moving on. Austin, John, who wants to go?
I guess
You want to go? Come up here this time, so we can get you on camera.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Justin Black. I'm from Putnam County, Hurricane, and I would like to seek the nomination for the 21st District of the House of Delegates. I'd like to represent our party. A little bit about myself. I've been a civics teacher. I have a small business, actually a couple. The little porcupine back there, he's part of our mobile petting zoo business. We also have a water buffalo dairy. And as far as I know, we're the biggest water buffalo farm in the state. Not that we have much competition. But every opportunity I've gotten in life, it's come from the state of West Virginia and the people, and I just want to give back and play a part. I'm very active in a lot of fraternal organizations, Freemasons, Shriners, Eastern Star. I've been honored with an honorary commission as a Kentucky colonel by the Kentucky legislature. I have 2 bachelor degrees, history and political science, both through Marshall University. Master's in teaching, also through Marshall. And I'm currently working on a PhD in history through Liberty University. Appropriately named university, I like that. Through college, I also interned with the legislature, the West Virginia legislature, twice as a Fraser Singleton intern, where I worked with Delegate Jonathan Miller from actually the Panhandle here. I don't think he's a member anymore. But he was a Republican. He was pretty liberty-minded. As a Judith Herndon Fellow, I worked for State Senator Bob Plumble from Cabell and Wayne County, who's a Democrat, unfortunately. But he's been ranked as the most conservative Democrat, for whatever that's worth. But he's a really good guy, actually. He's taught me a lot about public service and paying attention to your constituents. I've worked on both sides of the political aisle in my time at the legislature. Actually, this past session, I was a administrative assistant per diem for State Senator Plumble again and Senator Brown from, I believe, the 1st district. So that might be your competition.
Yeah,
actually.
no,
Oh, yeah, yep. But that's allowed me to make connections with political people from both sides of the aisles. And I've also made connections with the staff, and I think through those opportunities, I'll be able to hit the ground running the first day if I am so chosen for the office. Top priority for my campaign will be the legalization of cannabis in all forms for all people to benefit from. One thing I think is really wrong is the fact that if you get medical cannabis, you lose your right as your Second Amendment right to own weapons in the state. So that's wrong. I don't think that should be, that's unconstitutional to me. That being said, I also want to work on infrastructure. I think that would be important. Our state is falling apart. In some places it looks worse than a third world country, and that's a shame. Because we have tons of natural resources and we should have plenty of funds to fix things. And unfortunately, the government in Charleston just isn't doing the right job. And that's been a long problem. And it's not just, can't blame the Republicans because they've only been in charge for the last 10 years. It's been probably almost 100 years, and that's including the Democrats' rule as well. So I think we need to get some liberty-minded people elected. I hope I will be one of those, and we'll get some changes done. As Thomas Paine said, government, even its best state, is but a necessary evil, and its worst state, an intolerable one. So thank you for this opportunity to address the convention, and hopefully we will all work together and get some libertarians elected in November. Thank you.
Let's maybe go through the candidates. And
Motion that we nominate Daryl Justin Black for 21st House of Delegates District.
Second. Okay. All in favor for the nomination for Mr. Black?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Gives nomination for Mr. Black there.
Congratulations.
Don or Austin?
Rock, paper, scissors.
So a great point that I've noticed is a lot of the candidates I spoke to, I'm not quite sure of your background, have approached me, are veterans. And it's great to see the Libertarian Party. Obviously, we know West Virginia's proud past veterans come forward to represent West Virginia. It's great to see them in the Libertarian Party. Thank you all.
afternoon. My name is Austin Lynch, and I'm seeking the Libertarian nomination for State Senate District 12. I'm a husband, proud adopted father, a pastor, a hospice chaplain, a city councilman, Operation Iraqi Freedom veteran, and a lifelong West Virginian. I believe the fundamental role of government is to be a steward and a protector of individual liberties. My priorities will be centered around protecting the God-given rights of our citizens. Our very state motto is Mountaineers are always free. Yet our representatives have passed enough government overreach legislation that our motto might as well be Mountaineers are always regulated. This is not the American way. This is not the Mountaineer way. I still believe in the right of every citizen to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I believe West Virginians are competent and capable of managing their own lives. They do not need government dictating them on how to run their business or raise their family. The state government should empower free people to pursue their dreams, not to burden them with red tape and unnecessary regulation. I want to be a voice in Charleston who listens to normal people in the district, not special interests. I believe in community solutions and the value of local involvement. Concerning issues ranging from the opioid epidemic to food insecurity, I believe churches, nonprofits, and grassroots organizations are better equipped to solve community issues than bureaucrats in Charleston or in DC. The Senate race in District 12 is unique this year. There's only a Republican and a Libertarian. If I'm given the honor of being nominated by this body, it'll be a head-to-head race. To date, the Republican candidate has spent nearly $40,000 on his campaign. There is no doubt that I will be outspent, but I will not be outworked. With the last 2 years, all too fresh in our memory, the people of West Virginia are ready to embrace the growing liberty movement. With your nomination and support, we have a real opportunity to elect our first of many libertarians to the state Senate. We have a real shot at reclaiming who we are as Mountaineers. From Wheeling to War, from Mannington to Matewan, from Parkersburg to Polka, and every place in between, we are Mountaineers, and Mountaineers are always free. Thank you for your time.
Yes, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, congratulations, Dawson. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Stephen Smith. I'm the state treasurer, and for the purpose of the ballot, it'll be Stephen Thomas Smith. You have a name as common as mine. You have to try to differentiate yourself as much as possible. I don't want to be confused with the Stephen Smith who ran as a Democrat for governor back in 2020. I've been a member of the Libertarian Party for many years. I was once a member of the Democratic Party in West Virginia and the Republican Party in West Virginia. I've always been in West Virginia. Various reasons I moved on from those parties. Parties are a reflection of the people that are in them, and they change over time. If you remember, the Democratic Party was in favor of slavery in the 1860s, and then they were in favor of civil rights in the 1960s, so things do change. I was attracted to the libertarian movement because of the very simple concept of personal freedom, personal responsibility, and government needs to be a service organization rather than a dictatorial organization. I've run for office in my area, various levels of government, always with that idea in mind. And I've been more and more successful. I haven't been elected, but more and more voters seem to be buying into that concept. I've somewhat shied away from the legislature, particularly the House of Delegates, because until this year, while we've had 100 members of the House of Delegates, we've only had 67 districts, which means that there are a number of districts that elect more than one person. In my particular case, we had 3. So potentially, you could be running against not only 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, but 3 Libertarians and 3 Mountain Party people. And any independents might get in there, but you're also running against your own party. And it seemed to me kind of a exercise in futility. But now we've gone to single member districts. There will be 100 members and 100 districts this time. And I think it gives an opportunity to spread the message among my friends and neighbors because my district encompasses where I've always lived most of my life, in Parkersburg, in the central part of Parkersburg. I believe that I can bring the message of freedom and limited government to Charleston. I certainly hope some of you would join me there if I do get there. So being one of 100 will be a challenge if that's the case, but at least it'll be one. And I'll quote Sally Field from a movie named Norma Ray. They may hear my voice turn down here, but they're raised up somewhere else, and that will be Charleston, on behalf of all libertarians in our state and the concepts that we all fight for. So I hope you'll support me, and thank you for your time.
House of Delegates, District 12.
Sure, I move to nominate Mr. Smith.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, congratulations, Mr. Smith. Okay, I just got pictures of like South Park characters. Oh, hold on, it's our legislature. I'm John Fay. I'm going to be running for District 40 for the House of Delegates. Right now, we've got one Republican who's a 10-year veteran of the House of Delegates. Nobody else, I think, correct? Nobody else is on the thing there. So I figured I didn't want to make it too easy for Mr. Cooper and just like let him do it alone. I have been a West Virginian for about 20 years now, originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Moved out here, wanted to get away from crowded hustle and bustle of the city, and I really enjoyed the natural beauty of the state. And I eventually decided to start a family, and so, you know, like many other people who start families, sometimes those get broke up. And dealing with our family court systems has been a personal matter for me. It's nice when people can get along and they can reach an agreement, and when they don't, then you have to go and hire expensive lawyers, and you have to go to court, and yada, yada, yada. So I said, well, what's the law say? And I was reading through the law, and one of the things is like there's no 50-50 presumption. And so I started reaching out to some of the legislators, and they said, well, you know what, these other people are talking about the same problems that they're dealing with. Maybe you should talk with them. So I reached out to Mr. Jed Pinkerton, and he started the West Virginians for Equal Shared Parenting. This was about 2 years ago. Started it on his own. He just wanted more time with his kids. That's all it was. And it has went from him being the only one to almost 2,000 members now. And for the past 2 legislative sessions, we have spent our time and efforts going to Charleston to speak with those in the Senate and in the House about getting bills passed to help remedy some of the corruption that is in our family court system throughout the state. We've also paid for polling so that there are some of the people that are in there, they were able to go, and they were who have been supporting this 50-50 legislation, which is being heard today, actually, as we're speaking here right now. Last day of the session, and we contacted the National Parents Organization, and we asked them, hey, can you help us out? Can you poll West Virginians? Can you see what we have to say about things? So when people want to stand up in Charleston and say, well, we don't think that's in your best interest. Well, actually, 97% of people in West Virginia are saying that this is in our best interest. Also, we're asking that due process rights for people, freedoms, be upheld whenever you're going into a civil case of such a nature. And another thing is we don't even have a paternal registry in our state. So that is another thing that I think would be,
we would benefit from. So, that is where my, I guess, efforts really lie, is with getting the family unit as good as you can whenever parties do separate, and helping kids really to go and maximize the time with both of their parents. And there's many other issues that were stated by other people running for office that I can fully get behind on those, but this has kind of been my passion. It's what I've been going and working hard towards by just reaching out to our current legislature. And I'm hoping that if I get elected, I can go and I can do more things to help advance the equal shared parenting in the state of West Virginia, and do the best I can. I'm not a career politician. Before this, I've worked in sales. I've served in the military. I was in OIF as well. And actually, on the screen behind me, you can see this was the weapons of mass destruction that we found in Iraq. Yeah, so that was what I found. I was from Baghdad everywhere south. But I hope you'll nominate me. I'm going to do the best I can. There's a lot to learn, and if somebody doesn't think I'm doing a great job, let me know that too, and I'm going to try to work on it to make everything as best as I can for the constituents of the state of West Virginia. Nice thing about being in the House is that even though only the people in the 40th can vote for me, no matter where you live in the state of West Virginia, if I'm elected, call me up, send me a draft of a bill, I'll push that thing forward. And it gives you the opportunity to affect the whole entire state. So it would be better to have more people in there that are like-minded like that. Anyway, that's all I got.
Any nominations, Mr. Payne?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Congratulations, Mr. Payne. Madam Secretary, do we have any?
We do.
Would you like to report?
For Reno, we finally have 6 people. I would like to congratulate Mr. Will Hyman as one of our delegates. Taylor Richmond. We have Tim Moody, David Blankenship, Matt Lucas.
That's close enough. You've only known me for like 3 years. It's fine.
That's my name. Her husband's named that.
Congratulations. Oh, sorry, I got mine.
Was there 6? I didn't hear. Okay, I'm sorry.
I think we were laughing too hard.
Yeah, we were laughing too hard. Sorry.
Thanks, David.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, that's what you heard. That's all that matters.
Thank you, Mrs. Secretary. I appreciate it. All right. Where are we at? All right, for the final piece of business. Because our ability to nominate people is up until August 1st, and obviously we have Mr. Grimley, who will be seeking nomination somewhere in the Northern Panhandle. What we need to do is vote to reconvene the nominating convention, whether it be virtual or in a special meeting where we can all meet together. You know, and we can we do multiple ones? I mean,
Yeah, no, you can do it
Okay.
every month up
I was
until
going to ask you
the,
about that. I
yeah.
appreciate it. So, do we have a motion to reconvene the nominating convention?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, how about that'll pass, and can I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Mr. Chair.
Oh.
Second.
We have appointed Judaism.
We good?
The affiliate.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have another item of business. Would you like to read the bylaws of the new?
Thank you for the offer.
Okay, great.
Actually,
All
I
right,
would
we-
say between this and the other affiliates, the only difference is, to be a member of the affiliate, not a member of the executive committee, just a member. You only have to be a registered libertarian
Okay.
with the state of West Virginia.
Shall I read the bylaws? I know we have a copy of the bylaws. I know it's very lengthy.
You should have a copy, one copy for the table, so I didn't print out more.
Good. Anything we want to discuss about? Any discussion?
This is Wetzel Tyler, Libertarian Party.
Mr. Chair, I would move to accept the affiliate
Second.
application.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye for expanding a new affiliate in the Tyler Wetzel area.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Yeet.
That pass. Good deal. Thanks, Joel. Thanks, Josh. And how about now? A motion to adjourn.
So moved. So moved.
Oh, we got one more? Oh,
Well, I was saying, you have a line for executive and public comments. I just wanted, I don't have anything,
Correct.
but I do want to just make sure that.
Is there anybody who would like to come up here and talk? Or online, yeah.
Yep.
Just one.
I apologize to everybody. I'm a bad friend, but my friend Tony DeRazio is also running for LNC chair. And I had some handouts for him, but forgot to bring him with all my other stuff. But Tony DeRazio is running for LNC chair. There's also another candidate. But Tony DeRazio is a great guy. He's former chair of the state of New York, Libertarian Party. Loves curling. He's just a great guy. If you want to get to know him, it's Tony D'_ORAZIO. So Tony DeRazio for LNC chair. That's what I got.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Mr. Schmidt? Just had a couple of quick comments as a member of the board. First, it wasn't Spike Cohen's idea to have the convention in March. It was me. I mentioned that I ran for office before as a libertarian. Libertarian is a recognized party, but we're the only party of the four that nominate by convention. Even the Mountain Party uses the primary process. So they let you taxpayers pay to choose their candidates, all three of the other parties. We paid to come together and nominate ours today. So I think that's important. Most organizations won't recognize you as an official candidate, where they recognize those members, even though they're running in a primary, the minute they sign up in January. So you're at a disadvantage if you can't become an official candidate in the minds of these organizations that have forums and so forth and so on. So I appreciate you coming out in the snow to give me a head start on my campaign.
Yes, sir.
I think the others who are running for office will find that as well. Will mentioned that we are getting close to 10,000 members. It's actually at the end of February, 9,387. As a financial guy, money coming in, money going out all my life, I thought about, and I've thought a lot about this, wouldn't it be nice if every registered libertarian in the state could donate $5 to a fund to put forward liberty concepts, support candidates, and so forth. I'll let you do the math of 5 times 9,387, but it's a sizable chunk of change. And so we're trying right now, as an executive committee, to do more with identifying the folks who have registered with our party, who they are, where they are, and we'll be working towards that to try to raise more funds and do more things. And we hope that you all will support that, not only personally, but with everybody you know, and bring more people to our next convention meeting. We're very happy for you visitors, whether you chose to be libertarians or not, to come and listen to us talk. So, should I close? Anybody else want to talk?
We got one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just want 30 seconds. I feel bad about not plugging something earlier.
So it's okay.
So if you are from the Berkeley County area, I want to thank David Valente. He has done a great job. We have a local radio station, and he's on a regular panel, constantly promoting the ideas of liberty, and he has done a lot here in the panhandle to grow the party. And he knows more about being a chair or anything than I do, so I'm constantly bouncing things off, I appreciate everything he's done for just moving to the area. Rose and Tim Mooney, thank you guys, and Travis Bost, and your wife's name, I'm sorry. Jean, thank you guys for moving to the area right now and jumping right on board. We're glad to have you, Tara, and I forgot to mention her husband, Dustin. The first time he's our at-large member. He told me last night to just address him as the large member. So I wasn't expecting to speak early, so I felt bad. I was sitting over there, but I thank everybody who has jumped in and appreciate working with you guys. It means a lot to me to see where we come. So I'll turn it back over to Will. Thanks,
I appreciate it. Good job. With that being said, if you are planning on running for office, please meet with me and Tara over here. We have the CA nominating commission forms that we'll need to fill out. We can take that with you. I believe you have to get the notarized, but I think you have to notarize, as well as your candidacy paperwork as well that you have to submit to the Secretary of State's office. So you have to just come up here and meet us at the end. We do have the facility for several more hours. I know we've got important things to do, right? So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oh.
Good.